Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dewayne. I got a video for that Kimble, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Today I'm going to be discussing what does not impact your VA compensation claim. Again, what does not impact your VA compensation claim? Make sure you stick around. Okay, before we get going with today's video, we are offering two different memberships. We have one inside of YouTube, which you can click the join button right underneath this video, or you can join our monthly veteran membership outside of YouTube. The link is in the description section. So for the month of March, we're running a special, 50% off. Make sure when you sign up, use the code KMD50, Kilo Mike Delta 50. All right. So what does not impact the VA compensation claim? I get asked this question a lot. And I say, well, where did you hear that from? And the veteran says, they said. Well, where did you hear it from again? They said. Guess what? I have a video on that. And I call it the #1 non-VA regulation that gets vets into trouble is they said. People leave me comments, I heard about this. Can you share the link? Never hear from them. Oh, I heard about that. Can you share the link? I never hear from them, okay? So these are 10 things that I saw as a former VA rater that does not, I say again, does not impact your VA compensation claim. Let's go ahead and go over this list. Number one, income or employment status, unless you're going for IU. That's different, okay? That is different. But if you're not going for IU, and let's just say you had a job and you're making $600,000 a year, can you be 100%? Can you be 90%? Can you be 50%? Yes, you can, and it's not going to have a bearing on you being awarded compensation benefits, okay? So again, unless it's dealing with IU, compensation is not an issue, okay? Let's keep going. Number 2, non-service connected conditions, okay? So basically, those conditions are not service connected. So how are they going to impact a service connected condition, okay? It's not gonna hold any bearing. For example, if they denied you sleep apnea, okay, and you're coming in for a claim for tinnitus, and you ask the VA to concede that based on acoustic trauma exposure due to your MOS. That's a nugget. That's a VA claim nugget. I know you all didn't caught it, okay? So I know you all didn't catch it, so I'm gonna call it out for you, all right? So that non-service connected condition, which is migraines, has no bearing on the tinnitus. Okay? Number 3, length of military service. Okay? Now, let me clarify this, okay? Because normally we're looking at 90 days, but there's individuals, they get hurt in basic training and get out on a medical, and I've seen them get service connected, okay? But don't confuse this, okay, with anything else. And everybody's situation is a little bit different, because I know somebody's gonna say, well, Dewayne, they're saying that they can't, I'm a bar because of this. And when they say bar, what they're talking about, we're gonna talk about here in a minute, they're talking about the actual discharge. The reason why, okay? Not the length, but the reason why they got out, okay? So I've seen veterans actually get service connected and they only had, like 80 days in service because they got hurt and they could not continue, okay? Number 4, type of discharge, if not dishonorable, okay? Now, if it's honorable, if you have a discharge that's honorable, it's not going to, you're not going to have an issue, okay? It's not going to impact your claim. Only there's several, not several, but like if you were AWOL, or if you have dishonorable, that will impact your compensation because they're gonna have to do a COD, character discharge, and I have a video on that as well. But for right here, like it says, as long as your discharge was under conditions other than honorable, okay, it's not gonna have an impact, all right? Now, for those veterans that have a dishonorable, you already know, okay? You already know, but what we're talking about, if you have an honorable discharge or under conditions other than honorable, it is not going to impact your VA compensation. Number 5, Social Security disability decisions, okay? That's not gonna have any bearing. You could be, I've seen veterans say, well, I got Social Security, I'm getting Social Security disability for my back condition, and the VA denied them because the back doesn't fall under one of the 5 ways of service connection. But sometimes veterans think, hey, well, Social Security is giving me these benefits. They're a federal agency. So therefore, the VA, they're a federal agency, and I'm a veteran, I should get service connected for that condition. That is not the way it works. Your Social Security decision does not have an impact on your VA decision. Now, let's just say you are getting Social Security benefits for your back, and you are claiming the back, and it falls under the 5 ways of service connection. It still has to go through that process. To get approved. But again, Social Security is not going to have a bearing on the compensation. Okay, credit score or financial history. If you're a veteran, you got a 400. I don't know if you can have a 400 credit score. Somebody let me know. 500 or 600, 700, 800 credit score. It is not going to impact your compensation claim. We're talking about compensation. It's not going to have an impact. As a rater, I never or even had the power to pull a veteran's credit history and say, oh, you were delinquent over here with your mortgage for 30 days, or you filed bankruptcy, you did this, and that denied your claim. No, that's not the way it works, okay? Number 7, age of veteran, okay? That doesn't impact it. I've seen veterans, the oldest case that I've actually worked was a World War II veteran, and they stormed the beaches of Normandy. And that was, Normandy was actually on the Veterans DD-214, right? And this was, I want to say this was maybe like around 2014, maybe 2013, 2014, somewhere like that, right? So right around like 10 years ago. And that was a veteran's first claim. That was the veteran's first claim. And guess what he was claiming? Hearing loss and tinnitus. In his late statement, he was talking about he stormed the beaches, okay? So age is not a factor when it comes to rating cases, right? Or having an impact on the case. Number 8, VA healthcare enrollment, okay? So you can be enrolled with VHA, Veterans Healthcare Administration, and getting treatment, but it's not going to impact your claim as it pertains to you being enrolled. Now, here's a VA claim nugget. What can impact your VA compensation claim if you are enrolled in the VA healthcare system is what you're telling that medical doctor or what you're telling that mental health examiner. If you're telling them, for example, I'm gonna give you an example. I was working at an FDC clinic. A veteran was receiving treatment for mental health under VHA at a VA medical center. They went out to a private physician to get a DBQ done. The rater looked at the private DBQ and looked at the progress notes under VHA, which raters have access to, and the information did not correlate with each other. Guess what? Veteran got denied. Okay. Now, in that instance, would I probably would have granted? Yes, because we have to understand day to day things change for veterans with, mental health conditions. They could be having a crisis over 24 hours, or they may go 2 or 3 months without having a crisis. So in that regard, not the enrollment itself, but the treatment that you are getting and what that examiner is writing down, just keep in mind, raters can see it, okay? So that's different than enrollment. We're talking about treatment, but I just wanted to clarify that for you. Moving right along, number 9, veteran status for other benefits, okay? Eligibility for benefits like the GI Bill, VA home loan, or state veterans benefits has no bearing on your VA compensation claim. All right, there it is, people. There it is. There it is. If you're getting a GI Bill, they can't say, oh, just because you're getting a GI Bill, you can't get compensation. Oh, just because you're using a VA home loan, you can't get compensation. Just because you're using the state benefits like no property tax, you can't get service connected, okay? Has no bearing whatsoever, okay? Now, the last one, number 10, VA staff is unacceptable but possible. VA staff bias is unacceptable but possible. There is a 38 CFR that states that the adjudicator is not supposed to let their personal feelings come into play when they're adjudicating the claim. And you've heard me say this in some of my other videos, and I'll say it now. There are some VA employees that are not advocates for vets. They deny more claims than they actually approve. That is a thing. I had some on my team. I knew exactly who they were, and I haven't worked with them in over 6-7 years, and I still know their name. Still know their name, okay? And what I'm saying here, VA staff bias is unacceptable. It is. It's not supposed to happen, but possible, okay? And the paragraph that I put, while VA decisions should be based on evidence and regulations, personal opinions of some VA employees can influence outcomes. Yes. Now, it shouldn't happen, but it happens, okay? And that should be a reason, more so a reason, for you to make sure you get educated. So if you see that bias in a rating decision, a lot of times I can point it out. If I'm reading the rating decisions, but some raters are real crafty with their wording, but sometimes I'm able to see it, okay? When you're educated, you'll be able to see that bias in a rating decision because those raters, they just can't help themselves. They're thinking, the veteran's not going to know it. He's not going to recognize it. But if you do, you can do a high-level review, and that's the fact that 38 CFR that you can argue, okay? So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and as always, share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.